Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support my channel. I appreciate all of you so very much. So true tea, I have a hair appointment today and I'm so excited, but this is what my hair looks like when I do not use the color depositing shampoos. Do you see all this like crazy awful like corally pink in here? Like, I don't mind it honestly, but this speaks volumes to maintenance of your fashion colors because I am rocking kind of like a red, a gray to like light brown to red to coral thing. But it is what it is. Honestly, also, you have to wear a mask in the salons, so there is no makeup from here down on my face, and I am not wearing any foundation, so I feel really weird doing this video today. I am wearing concealer, and also this eye is burning so badly, and I don't know why I'm not wearing anything new, like as far as mascaras or anything goes. It's all stuff I've been wearing. So welcome to real life. Thank you guys for joining me today. Today I am filming my new installment in my palette Roulette series, in which I let an app choose a palette that I use throughout the week, come back to you, talk to you guys about the palette, show you some swatches-ish. I'm not going to swatch this, there's too many colors, and show you some pictures of the looks that I created and then pull a new palette. Today we will be talking about the Tarte Tarteist Pro. This is an Amazonian clay palette, which was the very first palette that I purchased that was like super expensive. Right now this is retailing for $49, but I swear to you it was something like $54 when I purchased it. 53, 54, something like that. And this used to be the most expensive palette in my collection before I started like diving into things like, you know, Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath, and it was pretty expensive for its time. $54 for 20 shadows was crazy. But there is 0.035 ounces in each one of these pans for a total of 0.7 ounces in the whole palette. It has a star rating of 4.3 stars on Sephora, and that is with just over 1,300 reviews on the palette. It also has a 4.6 star rating at Ulta with just under 1,100 reviews, and on Tarte it is 4.8 stars with 2,225 reviews. This is what the exterior of the palette looks like. You can see my grubby fingerprints all over this palette. It has almost the NARS feel, but not quite as soft to the exterior of the palette. These here are like an applique, almost gold leafing, so you can definitely tell the difference between this black here and this gold lettering. I would say that I love the packaging of this because it's nice and sleek and it's just really pretty, but this black, it is so gross because even though I have wiped it down 100,000 times, you guys can still see it is quite dirty. The back of the palette is gold, kind of like a mirrored gold, and it does have just this box in here that just tells you what this palette is and the shelf life for this palette, which is 12 months. I've had this in my collection open for a lot longer than 12 months, and I have to tell you, this actually performed just as good as it did the day I purchased it. So you do you, but I don't typically follow those expiration time frames, especially for powders, because I feel like they still perform. Once they start not performing, then I feel like they're expired, unless they start growing organisms on them, and this has not done that thus far. When I purchased this palette, this was the big thing about it. This mirror here is huge. It is the whole size of the opening. I have to say, I don't like that it doesn't lay flat, but at the same time I do, because this is a really good palette for travel purposes. This would make a great like vanity-esque type mirror, but that is what the mirror looks like. And then this is what the palette looks like. It is a little mirrored, so it might be hard to see. Let me get up a little bit closer for you guys. It is comprised of 16 matte shadows, which are the square pans, and then it does have 4 shimmer claiming duochrome shadows, which are the circle pans. I think that this is a really great baseline neutral palette for any collection. When I say that, though, know that all of these shades pretty much gear warm toned, even though they may look cool toned in the pan. There's honestly only a couple of them that really sway cooler toned than the rest. Even some of the purples in here sway more warm toned brown than they do purple, so there's that. On the website, it does say it's infused with Amazonian clay for smooth blending without chalkiness and flake resistant wear. I would agree that there is an essence of smooth blendability with this palette, which is weird to me because on the websites that I looked at and the reviews that I was looking at, that was one of the issues that a lot of people had with this palette, is they didn't feel like it blended very well, and they didn't feel like the pigmentation was there. I really have had no problems with the pigmentation. I know that some of the lighter colors do kind of oxidize, which was weird to me. I've never really had an eyeshadow oxidize on me, and I don't know why that is, but some of the lighter shadows did kind of turn a different color throughout the day, which was very strange. It does have an essence of smooth blendability, but some of them, they're not all built the same. Some of them do blend a lot easier than others. However, that statement without chalkiness and flake resistant wear. Flake resistant, yes. Chalkiness, no. This palette has so much chalkiness to it, it's not even funny. The shadows seem really dry in the pan. There's a whole lot of powder kick up. There's not much fallout, which is good, but they do feel a bit chalky, and they do look a bit chalky when you're trying to put them onto a brush. So I would say that that is something that this actually is a con for this palette, is it does look and feel a bit chalky to the touch. And there's a lot of kick up in the pans, a lot of kick up. There's a ton of mess, and I would say that if you are going in with any kind of blending brush, you're going to find more powder in the pan than you get on your brush. Some pros on this is that it is a cruelty-free brand, of course, and this is a gluten-free palette. It's scented like vanilla, and it still 3 years later has that very like subtle vanilla scent to it, so it smells so good. But you can't, it's not scented so heavily that you can smell it all day long when it's on your face. A lot of the shadows do feel smooth and silky in the pan, but there are incredibly a lot of them that also feel a little bit grippy in the pan. They do feel quite tightly packed in those pans. So the shadows in this palette are definitely going to perform better and have a greater longevity with a primer underneath. But with that being said, there is very little time frame before they actually start to fade on your eye. I did notice that there was a significant amount of fading at about 7.5 hours. So these shadows are going to last with the vibrancy that you want them to last for maybe 7 to 8 hours before you're really seeing a lot of fading. And the metallics, surprisingly enough, last quite a bit longer than the mattes, which was odd to me. I think the metallics are really the standouts in this palette, and it's a shame that there's only 4 of them, but they do list them as duochromes, and I don't really, if there is a duochrome nature to them, it's very subtle. I know that I did have an eye look that looks very, very duochromy, but it's because I put these two shadows on my eye. So at the inner corner to, you know, inner third of my eye, there is this color, and then mid eye, inner third to like almost outer third is this color. So it kind of like, dependent on how the picture was taken, it looked a wee bit duochromy, but it was really two shades in this palette. The great thing about the metallics too is they don't emphasize texture. I find that there are some metallics out there that emphasize a textured eye. So if you have a little bit of crepiness or droopiness or fine lines on your eyelid, they're going to be emphasized by the fact that you have, you know, this shimmer on your eye that's emphasizing it. These ones do not, and they pat on really nicely with a brush. I always wet my shimmers, but they also, and this is with brush application, but they also pat on nicely with your finger, of course. I don't feel like putting it on with your finger is any better than putting it on with your brush, which is a plus for me because I hate touching my shadows. I will do it for swatches, but I just don't like touching my shadows. Man, I feel like undone today. So with that being said, I am going to swatch the metallics because I do think that that's important for you guys to see. These are just mattes. I mean, they're just matte shadows. I will swatch these darker colors for you so that you can see what they look like. And the two darker colors in here, this one up here and this one right here, do feel quite a bit grippy. So these are those darker colors, and you can see that they all just look like different shades of brown, even though two of those shades are supposed to be a little more purple in nature. Those just look brown. And then of course the black. The black is a good black. I enjoyed the black. It was an amazing black for like deepening up any look, and now I've got black shadow everywhere. But hopefully you were also able to see that they didn't swatch super, and that really speaks volumes to how they perform on the eye. I really don't think that they were patchy by any means, but they were harder and harder to blend the darker that you got in the palette. So now I'm going to swatch these 4 shimmers down here for you, keeping in mind that these are supposed to be duochrome shadows. We have the gold at top, which is called Ethereal. It's kind of a like coppery gold. And then we have this like more champagne called Glam. And then we have this one, which is called Minx. This one does have a little bit of duochrominess in a swatch, but I didn't notice it so much on the eye. And then this one, which is called Trendy, also a little bit of duochrominess on a swatch, but I didn't notice it so much on the eye. And it is just one of those like black, green, brown duochromes. I will say though that those are the standout shades in this palette. I had a lot of fun with those shimmers, and they really go well with any of the other shades in this palette. They are really pretty. So with that being said, for those of you out there that do have like experience with this palette, what are your thoughts? Because I really did enjoy using this palette. It will be a palette that stays in my collection. It was one of the first like larger palettes that I purchased because back in the day, these were the colors that I was into, the warm pinks and the darker purples and kind of swinging burgundies and neutral tones. I really do feel like I look better with a neutral eye than I do with a colorful eye, and therefore really feel like this is a palette that I need to keep in my collection because it's really a pretty perfect neutral toned palette for me. And I didn't struggle, so let's start there. I didn't struggle. But for the the darker colors, the pigmentation really is there. For the lighter colors, like I said, I found that some of them oxidized and turned like a completely different color than I intended them to be in my eye look. Not because of blending reasons, but because they just oxidized. And that was in reviews as well. I think on the Ulta website, I think that was in some of the reviews as well, the lighter colors oxidizing. So I don't think it's just me, and I don't think it's because my palette is 3 years old. With that being said, I did use this palette an awful lot. I used every single color in this palette, and you can see, hopefully my camera will focus, the Tarte word is still on a good majority of those pans. So I think it will take you a long time to pan this palette, just because those pans of shadow seem to be pretty firmly pressed in there. And that maybe is why they have so much kick up. But like I said, not a lot of fallout. So I'm really pleased with that. Now that you've seen my beautiful pictures and are back to my undone self, it is the last day of May. Can we believe this? Can we believe that it is the last day of May? I really am having a hard time realizing the fact that we have just boot scooted right on through this year because of all the crazy going on. And I don't want to be tone deaf at all. I do know what's going on in our world currently, and I am heartbroken and disgusted at the things going on right now. I don't watch the news. I will start there. I don't watch the news because my anxiety is that of such that if I watch those kind of things, that like I will have dreams about it forevermore. But because I am in the space that I am as far as YouTube goes and social media, I have seen quite a bit on social media, and I'm saddened by everything going on right now, especially in the world that we're in today. Like, you would think that we came out of this as a nicer, more understanding, more inclusive bunch, and that's just not the case in some parts. And like, I don't mean to be like dark right now, but I just want you all to know that I feel for every single person on the planet right now, and I am disgusted at what is going on. But the fact that we are blowing through 2020 like it didn't even happen is actually okay with me because 2020 has been not a great year. Not a great year. But I still cannot believe it's June 1st tomorrow. Today, when you're seeing this, it will be June 1st. Holy poop. So with that being said, we are going to pull our palette for next week. I hope it's something colorful. June starts month of Pride. I love Pride Month because I can wear rainbows on my eyes and nobody looks at me funny. So I do hope it's something colorful. Hopefully it will be something colorful. For those of you who don't know, I do have a Samsung Note 9. I have a decision wheel app that I pull from our Play Store, and this is how I decide what palette we'll be using for the following week. I put all my palettes in here as we use them. I pull them out. I just went through it this morning and pulled out like 6 palettes. And as I haul new ones in, I do put them in. I do have 2 palettes that you guys will see in a haul soon that I did not put in here because you haven't seen that haul, and I didn't want to pull them today, one or the other of them today, and you'd be like, wait, whoa, where'd that palette come from? Not that you would know, I don't think, but as we haul them in together, I do put them in. As we use them, I do take them out, and here we are. So to pick a new palette, they're all in here. We just hit this button here, and it will pick us a new palette. So this is a little 5-pen palette. This is the Pat McGrath I Ecstasy Sublime palette. It's one of their little clear ones, and it's all shimmer. I am going to roll for another palette since this one is such a small one, and next week we can come back and do 2. This one is Stila Eyes Are the Window Body. So I think the Stila one is maybe all mattes. Let me go grab those. I'll be right back. Okay, so these are the 2 palettes that we got. This is the Pat McGrath Labs I Ecstasy Sublime palette. It's one of her little 5 special shade palettes, and it's got Sinful, Gold Nectar, Sextrovert, Illicit, and Corruption in it, and this is what it looks like. It's all special shades from Pat McGrath. These were like $28 at Sephora, not bad, and her special shades honestly is where it's at. So this is the little Pat McGrath, and then, oh, this might be a problem. This is all shimmers as well. I feel like, okay, these are eyes. This is the Stila Eyes Are the Window shadow palette, and this one is Body. And this is what these shades look like. And they look glittery. I've never used this, so I'm not really certain, but those look shimmery too. I might have to pull some of the, matte shadows out of my singles because these both look pretty shimmery. So there's that. What I do love about it though is this is pretty colorful, and this is pretty not colorful. So I think that they will complement each other well. They're both relatively small palettes. So these are the 2 palettes that we'll be using throughout the week, and I will come back to you next Monday and we'll talk about them. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that if you did, you're considering giving it a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels out here. I also really hope that you like this video or myself enough that you're considering subscribing to my channel. It's free to you. It helps me out, and I would love to see you guys down in the comments section and have you be a part of my crazy YouTube fam here. If you do subscribe, or if you are already subscribed and haven't yet, please don't forget to hit that notification bell so it notifies you every single time I upload a video. I do upload videos 3 to 4 times a week, depending on the week, and I really would like you not to have to miss anything. I hope that you guys are staying safe. I hope that you guys are practicing your social distancing, loving each other from afar, and really just keeping your wits about you in these crazy times. Thank you guys so much for joining me today again, and until next time, bye guys.